was one of the questions on the debate.
Okay, good evening. We're going to start the meeting. Due to the snowstorm, the regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Town of Westfield in the County of Union, New Jersey was postponed from Thursday, January 4th, 2018 to the evening of Tuesday, January 9th, 2018 at 7:30 p.m. in the boardroom of the Administration Building, 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey. The purpose of the meeting is to transact the regular business of the board and to transact any other business to come properly before the board. This is to advise the general public and to instruct that it be recorded in the minutes that in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, entitled the Open Public Meetings Act, the Westfield School Board on Thursday, January 4th, 2018, caused to be posted at the office of the Board of Education located at 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey, and delivered to the Westfield Leader, the Star Ledger, the Westfield Library, Town Clerk of Westfield, Tap Into Westfield, and Patch.com, a meeting notice setting forth the time, date, and location of this meeting. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At the annual election held on November 7th, 2017, Lynn Benner, Kent Diamond, and Margaret Oster were all elected to 3-year terms. Congratulations to all three. The first item on the agenda is a roll call. Lynn Benner.
Here.
Michael B. Lynn.
Here.
Kent Diamond.
Here.
Brendan Galligan.
Here.
Robert Garrison.
Here.
Gretchen Olig.
Here.
Peggy Oster.
Here.
Charles Ostroff.
Here.
Amy Root.
Here.
And the next item is nominations for the office of president. Do we have any nominations?
I would like to make a nomination. I would like to nominate Gretchen Olig for president of the Board of Ed.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Lynn Benner? The roll call vote.
Yes.
Michael B. Lynn?
Yes.
Kent Diamond?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Robert Garrison?
Yes.
Gretchen Olig?
Yes.
Peggy Oster?
Yes.
Charles Ostroff?
Yes.
Amy Root?
Yes.
Congratulations, Gretchen, and now I will turn the meeting over to Gretchen.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for your continued trust in allowing me to lead the board. I'm excited about the year ahead. At this point, I would call for nominations and election for vice president. Brendan,
I'd like to nominate Peggy Oster to continue as vice president.
do I have a second?
Second.
Rob, thank you. Any discussion? Conversation? Objection? Good. Dana?
Lynn Benner?
Yes.
Michael B. Lynn?
Yes.
Kent Diamond?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Robert Garrison?
Yes.
Gretchen Olig?
Yes.
Peggy Oster?
Yes.
Charles Ostroff?
Yes.
Amy Root?
Yes.
Thank you guys. Congratulations.
Thank you for your support, and I appreciate learning from all of you, because I think we all bring something different to the table, and I do feed off of all of what you guys know, and I thank you very much.
So at this point, I think it's, as we reorganize, one of the critical pieces for us to do is sort of refresh our recollection for those of us who've been on the board, and certainly to introduce our new board members to our code of ethics that we are obligated to abide by. So in part of doing that, we're gonna go around the table and read them out loud. They're numbered on the agenda 1 through 10, so since I have new people at the end, I'm not to put you on the spot, but Lynn, I'll start with you. If you could read number 1, and then we'll just circle around from there.
I will uphold and enforce all laws, rules, and regulations of the State Board of Education and court orders pertaining to schools. Desired changes shall be brought about only through legal and ethical procedures.
2, I will make decisions in terms of educational welfare of children and will seek to develop and maintain public schools that meet individual needs of all children, regardless of their ability, race, creed, sex, or social standing.
3, I will confine my board action to policymaking, planning, and appraisal, and I will help to frame policies and plans only after the board has consulted those who will be affected by them.
Number 4, I will carry out my responsibility not to administer the schools, but together with my fellow board members to see that they are well run.
Number 5, I will recognize that authority rests with the Board of Education and will make no personal promises nor take any private action that may compromise the board.
6, I will refuse to surrender my independent judgment to special interest or partisan political groups or to use the schools for personal gain or for the gain of friends.
7, I will hold confidential all matters pertaining to the schools which, if disclosed, would needlessly injure individuals or the schools. In all other matters, I will provide accurate information and, in concert with my fellow board members, interpret to the staff the aspirations of the community for its school.
Number 8, I will vote to appoint the best qualified personnel available after consideration of the recommendation of the Chief Administrative Officer.
Number 9, I will support and protect school personnel and proper performance of their duties.
When can you take 10?
Sure. I will refer all complaints to the Chief Administrative Officer and will act on the complaints at public meetings only after failure of an administrative solution.
Thank you. I'd ask the board to consider our reorganization resolution, item number 1, which is that Robert Rules of Order would serve as our procedural guide for the Board of Ed. Can I have a second?
Second.
Brendan, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mhm.
Dana, do we need a roll call for that?
No.
Okay. Any objections, abstentions? Okay. Announcements. So in most cases, there are announcements set out in front of your seat, and we just sort of circle the table with announcements, things that are happening in the district. So Lynn, I'll start again with you, if you could read your announcement.
Okay, 3 Westfield High School 11th graders achieved the highest score possible on the November SATs and October ACT standardized tests, bringing the total of perfect scores so far this year to 34. Congratulations to Julia Pelosi, ACT Science and STEM, Kevin Lee, SAT Math, and Jenna Miller, ACT English. Westfield High School Principal Derek Nelson congratulated the students today, citing their outstanding achievement on the tests which are widely used for college admissions criteria.
Thank you. Michael.
At the Washington School Show. The public is welcome to attend this year's Washington School Show with performances on Saturday, January 13th at 1:30 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. at Westfield High School, 550 Dorian Road. Tickets are $13.50, can be purchased from www.booktix, that's BOOKTIX.com. The family-friendly musical, The Show of Shows, is the PTO's largest fundraiser each year, raising funds for resources in the classroom, teacher grants, school enhancements, and additional programs to enrich the educational environment for the students, for the school's 300-plus students. It is written, directed, choreographed, produced, and performed solely by parents, with the exception of the ever-popular teacher dance number.
Charles.
A parent awareness event. The Westfield High School PTSO is hosting a free event, Hidden in Plain Sight, on Wednesday, January 24th at 7:15 p.m. at Westfield High School, Cafeteria B, located at 550 Dorian Road. The targeted audience is parents and caregivers of high school and intermediate school students. This is planned as an important learning opportunity taught by New Jersey-based DEA Special Agent Timothy McMahon. Agent McMahon, Public Information Officer with the Drug Enforcement Administration, has years of experience that he will share, and a hands-on experience through a simulated room in which drugs are frequently hidden. He also will discuss substance abuse trends, signs and symptoms, in an effort to provide resources for parents and community members to help keep children healthy and drug-free. For more information, please contact the Westfield High School PTSO at WHSPTSO@westfieldnjk12.org.
Thank you. Brendan.
Yes. Congratulations to Westfield High School Blue Devils football coach Jim DeSarno, who has been named the Coach of the Year by the New Jersey Coaches Association and Coach of the Year by the National Federation of State High School Associations. We on the Board of Education will have the opportunity to congratulate Mr. DeSarno and his entire team for their incredible season, culminating with the third consecutive state championship at our next meeting on January 23rd.
Thank you. Ken?
Congratulations to the Westfield High School Wind Ensemble for being selected to perform at the New Jersey Music Educators Association Annual Conference held at the East Brunswick Hilton in February 2018. Through both written and audio recording submission, the group was selected as one of 3 in the state to perform at the conference. The ensemble is under the direction of Chris Vitale and Trevor Sindorf.
Okay. Continuing in our musical category. Westfield High School music teachers Chris Vitale, Trevor Sindorf, and Craig Stanton announced the students who were selected to perform in January in either the Region Band or Orchestra as a result of auditions held in December. Every year, hundreds of students in central New Jersey prepare and audition for the CJMEA Region Orchestra and Band. Our congratulations for wind ensemble and orchestra students Brooke Walden for piccolo and flute, and Aprina Wang for French horn. And then for the symphonic band, Andy Zhao for clarinet, Kaylee Zhao for bassoon, Amanda Latowski for alto clarinet, Kenneth Meyer for French horn, Max Tennant for trumpet, Michael Charlton for timpani, and Lucy Ritter for battery percussion, symphonic band, and orchestra. And in orchestra, June Lin Yi for violin, Kevin Lee for violin, and Kelly Egan for bass.
I'll make it a trifecta. Congratulations to 11 students in the Westfield High School chorus who auditioned in December and were accepted into the CJMEA Regional Chorus from hundreds of students who auditioned. I do apologize in advance in case I mess up any names here. Noah Bram, Allison Brown, Laura Brumfield, Charlotte Fontaine Jardine, Kaylin Kramer, Joey Maldonado, Olivia McElhaney, Abby Rothenberg, Lauren Singer, Laura Soris, Max Waslewski, and we applaud their accomplishments and those of their vocal instructors, John Brzezowski and Maureen Francis.
Excellent.
Thank you. Peggy.
I'd like to announce that all Westfield Public Schools and offices will be closed Monday, January 15th, in commemoration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. On that date, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Association of Westfield will observe its 31st annual Interfaith Commemorative Service at 1 p.m. at St. Paul's Episcopal Church, 414 East Broad Street. The speaker will be Union County Freeholder Linda Carter. The theme this year is Bridging the Divide, Race in America. The student winners of the essay, poetry, and art contests will be announced at the ceremony. Marchers will assemble at the Martin Luther King Monument on the South Avenue Circle to proceed to St. Paul's at 12:30 p.m. The public is invited to participate in both the march and the service.
Thank you. Our next Board of Ed meeting will be January 23rd at 7:30, and we're going to have that meeting at the Westfield High School Auditorium at 550 Dorian Road to accommodate our 3P football state champions. The complete agenda will be available on January 19th on the Board of Ed website and also in the business office at 302 Elm Street. Do you have any announcements?
I do not.
Okay. I would at this point recognize the public for agenda items only. Seeing no one come to the podium, we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Doyle.
Thank you. So tonight we start the new year with an update on how we are progressing on our district goals this year. Each year we generally have 3 district goals. They always come from our strategic plan, and I'm pleased to say that we are progressing. We've been 4 months into the school year, and we have been making progress on this. So let me focus on the first goal, which is we are looking to transition our district and our schools to a new website platform by September 2018, and we have accomplished a great deal of the initial work regarding this. So first of all, obviously we wanted to focus on what really has to be on all of these websites. There are so many state mandates for what needs to be up there. There are some federal, not quite as many. And then there's also information. We reached out to parents to say what is important for you to be able to access. And we looked a lot to get input from various groups as to what is important to place on our website to make sure we were considering everything and different perspectives. We also looked at sites of different school districts. A number of staff members and parents suggested places that we should look to. Actually, board members did the same, and we did review quite a few websites. And when we liked the websites, we paid attention to which platform was being used for those websites. We gathered input from the various committees, the Board Technology Committee, the District Technology Committee, administrators, teachers, secretaries, and parent-teacher council members for the development. And the input we received over quite a bit of time in the beginning of the fall, we used to develop criteria that was then used as we reviewed the various platforms. And then we began the research on which website would we use. We ended up looking carefully at 8 different providers that have experience working with K-12 educational organizations, some of them working only with public schools, some with private, some with both. And in the course of this, we talked about how this was all going to be taken care of. So we have, as any parent in this district knows, we have many pages on the website. And some are maintained at the school level, some are maintained at the department level, some are maintained by the PTCs. They each have, the PTOs rather, they each have pages that they maintain. So we are designating, we have a list of offices, each of which will have one person designated as the go-to person with some backup, obviously, but the go-to person who is responsible for putting that information and keeping things in a timely way. After doing all the work that we described before and reviewing websites and doing webinars with vendors, having vendors come in and meet with various committees, we did select a provider at the end of December. For those of you familiar with companies, the name of the company is Edlio, and that has been selected, and now we move towards making sure that we do the rest of the hard work to make sure we choose the right template that's going to be effective for our district and community. And we're also looking at focusing on the teacher web pages and maybe looking at that a little bit differently. We're considering using, for example, Google pages for the teacher ones, for the teacher pages. But one of the things that came up in the course of this, an issue that became a bigger issue in the last few months, not just in Westfield but across the country, are making sure that websites are ADA compliant, so that people who may have a variety of disabilities are still able to access the information. So we've spent a great deal of time learning a little bit more about this. Mr. Paul Pinero and Mr. Walker are going to a special workshop on it next week, and we're really focused on making sure that we do this well so that everyone will be capable of accessing the information. So we have much more work to do, developing the framework, making sure that things are clear. We will develop a sandbox so we can have things in a testing mode and have people react to it and say, no, that's too complex, or why does it take me 6 clicks to get there, or whatever the feedback might be. The plan is, along the way, we'll also be providing professional development for the people who will be using these and setting these up. And we will, the transition will actually happen in the summer, but we basically want the website ready to go by May so that we have time for mistakes and all the rest. And again, the transition will happen in the summer so that we are up and running by the time everyone is checking to see how school is starting and the rest. That would be basically the first goal. Still much more work to do, but we have taken steps. Our second goal was to determine feasibility and community support for full-day kindergarten. All right, so we had a demographer looking at our enrollment trends. The demographer found that we believe the enrollment will be basically stable over the next 5 years. Some districts have been able to take advantage of the fact that their enrollment has been declining. That has been a pattern in a number of districts. And if you have that, a declining enrollment, you potentially have available classrooms and you potentially have some money in your budget because you don't need some of the teachers. We don't have that. We have going forward the same number of students expected in our schools according to the demographer's work. We also had an architect review all of our facilities and look to see what are potential areas where we would be able to house additional classes and so be able to have full-day kindergarten. The report of the architect indicated that our current facilities are at or near capacity, So I have this recurring dream. I really know that they're at capacity because I walk through them. But I regularly dream about new wings. So the most recent one I had over the break, the high school had a new wing I had never seen before. It was great. It was great. But I
It's
keep
easy
on.
to get lost in that building.
That's true. But I keep having the dream, but it hasn't happened when I'm awake yet.
And how many built-up vacation days do you have? Maybe we need to revisit.
Maybe I need a few,
Yeah.
Could be, could be. And so we did also have the architect looked at what could we do? Where could we potentially build additions, or what other options could we have? And we had the architect look at that. And then we provided a summary of that information, what we learned from the demographer and what we learned from our architect. And we gave bullet points to community members prior to them actually taking a survey about their thoughts, so that they would have basically the same information we do. So for example, in order to offer full-day kindergarten, we would need to have a bond to build additional facilities. And we would also need to have a second question to increase the budget more, because we would need so many new teachers. So all that information was given to the public so that they really could make an intelligent choice based on information. We were very pleased with the number of community members who did participate in the survey. And the Long-Range Planning Committee of the board reviewed the results of the community survey. And based on the results that we received, and also based on so many uncertainties right now in terms of changes in the tax law, in terms of other changes and uneasiness, we did not feel as though that we would have the support of the community at this point in order to build the additional facilities and in order to increase the budget sufficiently to have full-day kindergarten. However, we do know that we have many parents who really would like us to be able to offer more, and so we continue to be hard at work to figure out what other options can we do to try to assist those families. We have not given up on it. We worked on it last week, we worked on it before the break, and we continue to do so to see what other things we can do. District Goal 3. District Goal 3 was focused on continuing to provide programs within the district for students with specific disabilities. And this is good for many reasons. Many families would really rather prefer that their children stay in schools in our town, but we need to be able to provide the right programs for students. So last year, we were able to identify that we could benefit from having a new program both at the elementary level and a different one at the intermediate level. At the elementary level, we were able to determine a group of students who could benefit from a new program that truly is structured differently than we've done before. This program, there are 2 classes, and they happen to be at Wilson School. And over the summer, we did a great deal of planning and training so that these classes would be successful for students with very specific needs. The other program we identified is at the intermediate level, and this happens to be one class. That class is actually offered in Edison, and the parents of the students who are in that class came to us. Their children have been able to stay in our district through the elementary years, and they said, is there a way we can build a program for the intermediate that's appropriate to continue the education of our children? And the parents were great to work with, and we were able to work on that also, to change a room a little bit to make it more accessible for the students, and that program was also offered this year. We've been able to have, we had new staff in place, we had training in place, made necessary facility changes, and everything was ready to go at the very beginning of the school year. We continue to monitor the programs to make sure they're addressing the needs of the students. The program at the elementary level, we continue to provide professional development for all the people involved, because it really, that one is a bit of a change in theory, thinking about how to work this program. So we continue to provide professional development for that. We continue to monitor it, and we'll be assessing this as the year progresses, and then see, are these programs meeting the needs of these students, and are there any changes we need to make going forward? But so far, we really are pleased with the way we've been able to help these particular students and their families.
Is there any anticipation that we might expand either of those programs, or?
At this point, I have not heard that there's a need to expand those programs.
Okay.
At this point.
Would you anticipate the program carrying on to the high school level? after 2 or 3 years when those students age out of middle school?
I think we certainly would be open to it, and we'll continue to monitor and see how the students are doing. But we certainly are pleased so far.
Excellent.
Anybody else have any questions from the board for Dr. Dolan on the district goals, progress? So just for the new members, we will, in the spring, we'll have an opportunity to set goals for our 2018-2019 calendar year. As Dr. Dolan said at the beginning, they're always tied to our 5-year plan. You know, we'll sort of revisit what's left, what we haven't tackled yet. Thank you for that. I'd like to ask the board to approve the minutes of our board meeting held on December 5th, 2017, and the private minutes of the same date. Can I have a second?
Second.
Brendan, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Does anybody need to abstain, I guess?
We do.
Yeah, Ken. All right, moving on. Personnel, Peggy.
I'd like the board to consider items 1 through 15. Is there any questions?
I second that motion.
Okay. Who would like to second that
I'm going to
motion?
break out in song in a minute.
Dr. Dolan, do you have?
We have one retirement this evening, and tonight I am announcing with regret the retirement of Nikki Leach. Nikki, who is a secretary in the Human Resources Office, has worked with the district since 1989. She initially worked with students as a paraprofessional and then became a secretary at Tamaulipas and the high school before coming to Human Resources. Gracious and calm, Nikki handles substitutes and the hiring of custodians, paraprofessionals, and secretaries. She's also responsible for a number of state reports and takes great pride in preparing them accurately and thoroughly. While Nikki will miss her colleagues and the wonderful people she has met in her various roles, she is looking forward to spending more time with her family, particularly her adorable grandchildren. We certainly wish her well in her retirement.
Any questions, personnel? Sorry, step on your toes.
That's right. Dana?
Lynn Benner. The roll call vote.
Yes.
Mike Beeman,
Yes.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Robert Garrison,
Yes.
Gretchen Olig,
Yes.
Peggy Astor,
Yes.
Charles Astroff,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
Great. The next item on the agenda is the facilities report. So we had a facilities meeting on Friday morning, last Friday. I circulated notes to the board. I'll just briefly sort of summarize our conversation there. So we spoke first about the facilities use policy and our sort of ongoing effort to revise that. We had a meeting actually tonight before this meeting with various user groups that represented the youth sports groups in town. And they gave us great feedback about the proposed changes, so we'll take that back. I think there's more conversations to be had with other user groups, and we'll continue to revise the policy accordingly, look to work with the town as it pertains to the sports groups, and keep on moving forward to get a document that we feel comfortable bringing to the table for first reading. We also had a request from the fire department about using the workout room at Kaler Stadium during daytime hours when students aren't there. And with some parameters, so to limit student interaction and also the understanding that the locker room won't be available. I guess it's the workout room, I'm calling it the locker room. The workout room, that it won't be available when we're doing renovations or in August, when the football team is there during the day. We approved their use of that facility. And Dana will follow through her office, Mike Morris's office, with sort of logistics on that end. We talked about the kindergarten expansion that Dr. Dolan referred to and ways to sort of expand our RAP program. That's an ongoing conversation. Auditorium renovations, they're moving along. Little hiccup with the wood panels, but hopefully it won't keep anything from happening with the spring musicals. We hope. We're still figuring that out, but otherwise everything looks to be happening on time. Chairs are getting put in this week, I think, right? Edison and Roosevelt. They're gonna look great. I'm so excited about the auditoriums. And then just some updates with respect to solar and the Kaler renovations, which were blessed by the planning board of the town, so now we can go out to bid shortly. So does anybody have any questions about any of those items, anything else facilities-wise? I don't think there are any items on the agenda specifically to vote on. Okay. I don't know when our next meeting is. I haven't gotten my facilities hat on.
Early February,
Okay.
3rd, I think.
Thank you. Long-range planning. Amy?
We have no report at this point.
Policies. Brendan, so Brendan asked about, are we tabling 5111 or are we moving forward tonight? Was there some?
Actually, we were going ahead. 'Cause
Well, yeah.
Okay, we're prepared to go.
You're right, there was a discussion about it, but yes, thank you.
I ask the board to approve policy item number 1.
So
Second. So policy item number 1 is 5111, eligibility of resident and non-resident pupils. 5306, health services to non-public schools. 5320, immunization. 5830, people fundraising. 7100, long-range facilities planning. 7102, site selection and acquisition. 7130, school closings. And 9220, general fundraising. Any questions? They were circulated with the agenda this week and with Chris's notes back in December. No questions, Dana?
Lynn Benner,
Yes.
Mike Beelan,
Yes.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Rob Garrison,
Yes.
Gretchen Olig,
Yes.
Peggy Oster,
Yes.
Charles Ostroff,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
I ask the board to approve policy item number 2. Have a second?
Second.
It's the
Who
second,
seconded? Who was the
I did.
second?
Gretchen. It's the second reading for the 2019-2020 school calendar. That again was circulated several times at this point. Dana?
Lynn Benner,
Yes.
Mike Beelan,
Yes.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Rob Garrison,
Yes.
Gretchen Olig,
Yes.
Peggy Oster,
Yes.
Charles Ostroff,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
And I ask the board to approve policy item number 3. Have a second?
Second.
Is that half of the room? So policy item number 3 is 5310, health services. 5310.1, health examinations. 5410, promotion and retention. And 5420, reporting of pupil progress. If there's no questions, Dana?
Lynn Benner,
Yes.
Mike Beelan,
Yes.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Rob Garrison,
Yes.
Gretchen Olig,
Yes.
Peggy Oster,
Yes.
Charles Ostroff,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
I ask the board to approve policy item number 4.
Second?
Thank you, Rob. The board affirms the superintendent's decision on HIB incident 18E02 for the reasons set forth therein.
Lynn Benner,
I believe I have to abstain.
Mike Beelan,
Yes.
Kent Diamond,
Abstain.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Rob Garrison,
Yes.
Gretchen Olig,
Yes.
Peggy Oster,
Yes.
Charles Ostroff,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
Thank you. And I ask the board to approve policy item number 5 as amended at the table.
Second?
Thank you, Rob. It's a memorandum of understanding between the Board of Education and the Westfield Police Department for the 2017-2018 school year. It was circulated with Dana's notes on Friday. It's a state mandated agreement that we have with the police department, and we have a fantastic ongoing working relationship with the police. Something we'd like to continue.
Is this the memorandum that specifically refers to access to our live feed, our video?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
That's correct.
Go ahead, Dana, I'm sorry.
Lynn Benner,
Yes.
Mike Beelan,
Yes.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Rob Garrison,
Yes.
Gretchen Olig,
Yes.
Peggy Oster,
Yes.
Charles Ostroff,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Brendan. Curriculum instruction and program, Michael.
Sure. There was a meeting on December 22nd. Number of areas were reviewed, in particular, we reviewed the forensic science and exercise and sports science courses during the regular 5-year cycle. curriculum is focused on updating the state's new science standards and some tweaks to the sequencing reflecting how courses are now taught. Basically, what we're doing is bringing the courses of biology, chemistry, and physics together so they have a real-world type of atmosphere and providing career path options for the students. There's been changes in the requirements in the past so they can make them more career-friendly. We've gotten some feedback from the students that they've been particularly helpful in the areas of occupational and physical therapy in the courses they've been taking. There's also new course proposals for engineering and design, and we're going to have a presentation tonight from Laura Doyle on that. And essentially, we're bringing an engineering course, so there's been a great deal of requests on that to the high school. And finally, the other major area covered was the elementary school report card update. We're working on the revisions to the elementary school report cards with a full path of implementation in the fall of 2018. We expect updates to be made and information sent to the parents this month, and a brochure is also being communicated with the parents. And we would have a formal update February and March meetings going forward.
Great. Is there a motion?
Yeah, we have.
No, I think it's just a summary.
Michael, do you want to move the agenda items?
Yeah, we have 3 items on the agenda
Sorry.
for this evening. Do we need to approve them?
The field trip.
Okay. For approval?
Second.
Are you moving all 3 together?
Yeah, let's just move all 3 together. Do we have a,
Second.
Yeah.
who did the first?
You did the first.
Oh, okay. I lost count.
You did the first,
All right.
Brendan did the second. Does
All right,
anybody have
we're
any
good then.
questions? Yeah, right, Laura, if you wouldn't mind, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but before we vote, would you be willing to come up and give us a little bit more color on the engineering and design course?
I'd love to.
Great.
Where shall I go?
We have this lovely podium that people enjoy standing at.
State your name
Hello and Happy New Year to all. Very briefly, my name is Laura Doyle, and I taught at Roosevelt Intermediate School for 12 years in the wood shop. So I was technology education, and I studied full-time for my master's plus 30 at Virginia Tech after that in integrative STEM education. And I recently came back to Roosevelt in the spring to teach once again, to fill a hole. And in the process, we started speaking with Barbara Ball and Paul Panero and Dr. Dolan, and we recognized a need for including engineering in the curriculum in high school, at Westfield High School. So for months and months, we've met, we visited schools, we researched different programs, different curricula, and we've decided upon a course called Engineering Your World, which is through the University of Texas at Austin. We thought that would be a really good fit for us as a first year, bringing engineering into the high school. We recognize that we can grow from there, and we may need to do some changes down the line, but we really want to get this in so that students have an opportunity to do hands-on STEM activities that model what engineers do in the real world. So this would be a full year course open to 10th, 11th, and 12th graders.
And this meets the requirements for?
21st century,
Practical arts.
yes. It's a long title, so yes, that one, correct.
And so one of the things that we talked about at the curriculum meeting was you're confident that our current facilities, that we've identified a classroom that we think will be able to sort of handle the hands-on project work that this class includes.
Right, so some of the weeding out that we had to do, we looked at Project Lead the Way, which is also a nationally recognized program. We would have had to spend a great tens of thousands of dollars to upgrade computers. We would have had to buy a lot of equipment. And so as this first step, Engineering World is relatively inexpensive for what we need. And in terms of facility, we just need work tables and seats and some storage. So we thought that was really doable in either a laptop cart or computers in the classroom. And like I said, we could potentially grow from there, but as a start, we thought that this would be a very economical way to go.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
How does this class compare to a class, I think it's in its third year now at the high school, the
IDEA,
IDEA class?
Correct, yeah. And
Which is-
unfortunately, I haven't been into the class
Okay.
in order to give firsthand observation about what
Right.
it's about. That course is offered as an honors course,
Mhm.
so it's limited to a certain number of students who can take it.
Got it.
This course is, like I said, it's offered for 10th through 12th graders, and there's no prerequisites for the course.
And do we anticipate offering more than one section of this? or
Correct,
is it
we're
okay.
hoping to offer 2 sections of the
Okay.
course in the first year.
Got it.
Is there any grant money available to help fund some of the materials that are needed?
That's a great question. I assume there is. I think totals were under $10,000 for year 1, right? Is that correct?
But we have talked about, because as you said, we're hoping that this is a first step in a longer process, so
Right.
we have actually talked quite a bit about, is there a way where we could reach out for assistance so that we can really, really make a change in the high school?
Yeah, I think maybe in years 2 or 3, where we really want to go for a push for more types of classes and what we offer, and more equipment, then I think that would be definitely needed. Mhm.
What disciplines in engineering does it touch on over the course of the year?
That's a great question. So I'm going to read some of my notes here. So I'll just give you an example of some of the titles of the different design challenges that students would be doing. One is called Designing for Customers. So that's just getting to know your clients and people who you're designing for. Understanding data, designing coffee. Programming electronic music, so that's using an Arduino circuit board, so that'd be a little electronic engineering there. Discovering design, pinhole camera, so that's creating a pinhole camera for an artist with disabilities. So that would be, more hands-on. They're actually building a camera, but they're taking the math, they're applying the math in order to, create the right focal point. Designing with data, safer buildings. This is where they design scale model buildings of an earthquake safe structure, and then they test it, they record the data, they analyze the data, and then they make another model. So they're actually using the data, they're learning how to analyze it, they're using it to then inform their design, to create the smartest design. And I know sometimes we build one model, we test it, and it fails and it breaks, and then we're like, oh, okay, and then we move on to the next activity, right? So this one is great because it allows for iteration, right? Yeah. The reverse engineering they do, so that they're redesigning an object and making it better, and then they're doing some systems engineering with aerial imaging. There isn't a whole lot of detail available publicly through Engineer Your World. We did get to, like I said, visit a school, and I did get to see a few different lessons online, but they didn't allow me to access everything online. So there are some questions that I'm not able to answer so specifically, but they do get a variety of some of the different engineering disciplines.
Understandable, they don't want you to take good notes. and
Right, yeah.
not pay for the data.
Exactly, right.
Anybody else have any questions? We're very lucky to have Laura here. That the master's program that she participated in at Virginia Tech is, I think now there's 2 programs like it in the United States. Is that right? It's still
So-
new. and
Right, yeah,
you're on the cutting
TCNJ
edge.
just started one, and Tech started theirs back in '06. So there was the first program in the state, in the
So
nation
we're
to do.
very glad you came back to Westfield
Yeah,
and you're
thank
sharing your
you.
knowledge with
And I'm
us.
happy to, and I really love the town of Westfield, and I want the students to be able to go from middle school and have all their energy and their passion, and then have somewhere to apply it in high school, so,
Perfect.
yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Lynn Benner,
Yes.
Mike Beelan,
Yes.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Rob Garrison,
Yes.
Gretchen Olick,
Yes.
Peggy Oster,
Yes.
Charles Ostroff,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
Finance, Charles.
Okay, I'd like the board to consider finance items 1 through 11, but before we do, I'd like to point out a few within, specifically.
Let's just get a second. real
Okay.
quick. Brendan, thank you.
I learned from Ginny. Just cut people off.
Just go right into it?
All right, Charles, thanks.
All right, item number 7 would be to accept a gift of $2,212 from the Westfield Coalition for the Arts to purchase a new Fox 51D bassoon for the Edison Intermediate School Bands. Item number 8, accept a gift of $2,779 from the Westfield Coalition for the Arts to purchase a new Yamaha YTS-480 tenor sax and a Yamaha YEP 321S silver-plated euphonium for the Roosevelt Intermediate School Bands. Item number 9, accept a gift of $3,250 from the Westfield Coalition for the Arts to purchase a new Yamaha YBB 641 tuba for the Westfield High School Band. So, in all those items, the Westfield Coalition for the Arts, definitely like to thank them for their effort and their generosity. Item number 10, accept a gift of $25,000 from the McKinley School PTO to be used towards the upgrade renovation of the McKinley School playground. And then accept a gift of $18,700 from the Franklin School PTO to be used to purchase 60 HP Chromebooks and 2 charging carts. So, again, the PTOs, thank you to both PTOs for their generosity.
Thank you.
Lynn Benner,
Yes.
Mike Beelan,
Yes.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Rob Garrison,
Yes.
Gretchen Oley,
Yes.
Peggy Astor,
Yes.
Charles Astroff,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
Thank you. Technology, Peggy.
Well, I was going to talk about our last meeting and where we discussed the website and so forth, but Dr. Dolan stole my thunder, which I'm happy for. But I just want to let everybody know that really from a committee perspective, it's been a very thorough and well thought out process to try and get us a website that everybody in the community is happy with. Starting from Brian, who started with a very large group of companies and narrowing it down for the group of administrators and tech teachers and so forth to look at. And then, and I just want to let you know, the committee did consist of people representing the elementary schools, the middle school, the high school, and administration. And then working, at that point in time, we dealt with the website companies, and they did presentations for us, not live, but via an internet connection. And we looked at 4 different websites at that point in time. We narrowed it down to 2 of our favorites, and they came here and did on-site presentations. So it was a very thorough process that was followed, making sure that we were meeting all of the needs of the different levels of students and the schools and so forth. We're going to continue to work on, as Dr. Dolan said, figuring out which template works best for us, what information should be on there, what information wasn't on before but we really feel needs to be on it. So over the next couple of months, the technology committee will be working with Brian and so forth, giving our feedback as to where they are, what they have, whether or not we think other things should be included. And he is reaching out to PTOs and parents and so forth to get their ideas and their recommendations for what they would like to see on the website. Because we're really looking in September to be putting forth a great-looking website that represents, the district, and we are a great district, and I think that this website will be a very nice platform going forward with all the information that we need.
Awesome, thank you.
Oh, and our next meeting is the 19th.
I'd ask the board to note the notes for the record. And do we have any unfinished business? Any new business? Liaison report. So before we start with individual reports, I think most of the liaison assignments are the same, with the exception of Kent is taking over Tamaqua.
Correct.
But just double check and make sure you reach out to your PTOs. Please remember, if you can't attend a PTO meeting, reach out to the board and let's see if we can get somebody else in there so that everyone is feeling that they have an opportunity to get updates from the board and then also provide information to the board. So does anyone have any liaison reports? Yeah, Amy.
Yep. The last time the PTC had its general meeting was November 30th, and I neglected to mention this at our last board meeting, but I wanted to mention it here. Paul Panero and most of our district supervisors were able to attend that meeting. There'd been just, a thought that maybe since we had a number of new faces among our district supervisors, it might be a nice opportunity if they could make the time for us to come to the meeting. So the PTC meets in this room once a month, typically. They didn't meet in December, but I think we had 6 out of 7 district supervisors. Almost everybody was able to come, and they did a really nice job of just summarizing pretty quickly, if you think about it, the scope of what they do for the whole district. Because the people that come to the meetings, some have kids at Lincoln School, some have kids at the high school, and everywhere in between. So they went in decreasing order of seniority, and gave an overview of what they do and new points, that are on their horizons for the next year, and answered questions at the end, and I think it was really great and helpful. I bumped into a couple people afterwards who said, it was really nice that they were able to make the time to come to the meeting. So thank you to them for doing that, and for answering questions and being patient with parents, some of whom have, we still tend to remember how we did things when we were in school, and it's always nice to, hear firsthand about new ideas in education from the educators themselves and from the supervisors. So just wanted to mention that, and Paul, there may be a request for that next year too, so I hope they didn't mind coming as well. And then the other liaison comment I would like to make is actually about the Special Ed Parents Committee. They have a meeting next week, next Thursday at Edison. I'm just going to make a last plug for them before we change any responsibilities. But so the topic of the meeting is called the ABCs of Ieps. And it's open to the public and anyone with any desire to learn more about special education in our district. How things are done, wanting to learn some acronyms about what they might have heard from their child study team members, would be a great time to come. So 7:30, January 18th in the Edison School Library.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And just before we go on, Lynn, you're our PTO rep for Lincoln. I'm sorry, I haven't got it all memorized yet, but I didn't mean to neglect to say that.
This might be slightly out of place. I know we haven't had a legislative committee meeting yet, but I did want to note for the record that the new legislature was sworn in today. Speaker Coughlin is the new speaker for the Assembly. Senator Steve Sweeney will remain on as Senate President. And Teresa Ruiz will remain as the chair of the Senate Education Committee. I know there are a number of other committees that impact education, but that's by name the most important one.
Right.
And in the Assembly, there was a leadership change, and the new chair for the Assembly Committee is Pamela Lampett. I'm waiting to hear from, on the Republican side, they've not announced their minority chairs or co-chairs. So
Okay.
I'll also wait to pick a date for the Legislative Committee sometime, hopefully soon. Purposely didn't have one planned yet because of the new swearing in, and the governor
Right.
gets sworn in next Tuesday.
Okay, thank you. Any other liaison reports tonight? Okay, great. I would at this point recognize the public for questions and or comments. Seeing no one come to the podium, I'd ask the board to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the Board of Education move into private session for the purpose of discussing matters rendered confidential by state and federal law, negotiations, residency issues, and harassment and intimidation and bullying incidents. And be it further resolved that any discussion held by the board which need not remain confidential and the results of the discussion will be made public as soon as practicable. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Brendan, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are in private session. Thank you very much.